This lesson is on sorting an array. Here's our form again, where we see we have team member names to list. Let me list them in any old order and see what happens. Steve, Bob, Mary, George, Tim. Okay, not in any particular sorted order. Let's click the button. Bam! Bob, George, Mary, Steve, Tim. Looks like they are in order. And also in the second example as well. I'm going to show you two ways to achieve this. Let's go to the code. So here is the HTML. Member 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like we've had before. And let's go to the PHP. So first, we need to define the empty array as we did in the past. And we're looping through the array. We're following that methodology of getting the member 1, 2, 3, 4, each part of the loop to get the member name that we used in the post. That gets the information that the user entered. So I'm checking to make sure that it's not empty. Because if it's not empty, then I want to push it, the array underscore push, into this team member's array, and then show the member. Now look at this statement. This is new. This is hard. Sort. The word sort, and in parentheses, the name of the team member's array. Now this sorts in place. Some functions you pass something to, it does something to the variable, and it returns something that's been changed. But not with PHP array sorting. It'll sort the name in place. You don't rename it. So if you needed an unsorted array, you would have need to have saved that off somewhere else. But this sorts it. Now, we're going to look at example 1 of what I do with it. Here, new function, size of. This gives me the number of elements in the team member arrays. Should be 5 the last time I did it. And I returned it to a variable called $array_length. Okay, now I used a different counter element here. I used JJ equals 0 because now I'm going to be looking at what's in an array first. So I want to speak the array language where index position 0 is the first one that I deal with. I want to make sure that this is less than the array length, not less than or equal to. If I do that, I'm going to step outside of the bounds of the array. Remember, the array length is 5 in this example because I had 5 elements or 5 team members that became elements. But since I start counting 0, not 1, I want the $JJ to be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 in this loop. I never want to hit 5 because that would be past where I have an element stored in the array. So here, I now have a new thing for display num. This is the num we see. So I add 1 to JJ. It's different than what I did in a previous exercise where I started counting with 1 in the for loop and then I took 1 away to get the array index. In this case, I'm actually going to add 1 for display. So I have the display number here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the team member's index using $JJ directly. Since I started with 0, that'll work. And we saw it work. Let's go try another way that's even a little cooler. Here, I initialize a counter to 0, and there's a new command I want to show you, a new statement for PHP. It's a construct called the for each. And the for each purpose in life is to work with an array. So you don't have to count up the size of the array. It just knows I'm going to be looking at an array. So I have for each, and then you specify the array name, the keyword as, and then the value here. I call the value $element. This is the value of the first element. The first time through, it's going to put in Steve, and then Mary, then George. Actually, it'll be in the sorted order. So it'll put in whatever's found in position 0, then in position 1, and so forth in the loop. And I don't have to keep track of it. The only reason I even bothered with a counter is because I want to have a display here. So it's 1, Steve, 2, Mary, whatever. That's the only reason I even needed to do that, was just so I could see it on a list. But it has nothing to do with the array. This is a better way to go for arrays. It's much simpler, and it's meant for that purpose. Before I end the lesson, I'm going to tell you about one other thing. It's the reverse sort, and it's just an R sort to get it reversed. So I'll save this code. let me go back to the web form itself. Now we should get this in reverse order. Now we do. Tim, Steve, Mary, George, Bob. So that was an R sort. So that's a reverse sort. That's how you get things in reverse alphabetical order. Now, truth be told, it's not really alphabetical order. It's ASCII-betical order. And what that means is there's an ASCII collating sequence. And one of the quirks of that is smaller case letters sort after uppercase letters. Let's go back. I'm going to make this a regular sort again. And I'm going to enter slightly different data. I saved it. I'm going to come back, and I'm going to put in a little b for Bob. Submit it. Look at that. Bob, with a little b, sorted after everything else because little letters, or small letters, are higher in the collating sequence than capital letters. So this allows us to sort in a case-sensitive manner. If we have to sort in a case-insensitive manner, you'll have to be careful about that. This ends my presentation on sorting arrays.